When I was around 5 or 6 years old, I fully believed I had magical powers. Not like I just like fairy tale magical powers. Like I sat crisscross applesauce on my floor with a stuffed cat in front of me, believing that if I closed my eyes and thought hard enough, I would be able to turn the stuffed cat into a real life cat. I wanted a sidekick. I needed one. And I felt that I would be able to make that happen for myself. It didn't happen, obviously. But in that moment, opening my eyes and seeing stuffing and fabric was maybe one of the first times that reality told me no. So today I want to talk about that belief, where it went, and why 20 years later, we're still obsessed with whimsy and everyday magic. Hi, my name is Haley and welcome to Clever as a Foxy. This is for all clever and foxy people. This channel goes into fashion, philosophy, our 20s, a little bit of woo-woo, and it will also follow my process as I'm writing my debut novel. I am so excited that you're here. What we're actually chasing. I think that memory actually stuck with me because I never fully stopped believing in magic. I just got a little bit sneakier about it. I think that our entire culture is built around wanting to believe in something bigger. We seek out movies and books, TV shows about worlds more magical than ours. We pretend just for a couple of hours that we're there too. Personally, I waited for my Hogwarts letter for years. As a society, we are obsessed with magic and fantasy, and I don't think that's random. I think that it is because if we can get a little bit of magic, our days are more bearable. So what is magic? The Webster's Dictionary defines it as the use of means such as charms or spells believed to have a supernatural power over natural forces. Which, that's fine. That's a technical definition. And under that definition, magic hasn't been proven to exist. But today I'm going to argue that that's the wrong way to measure it. Because magic is something that we are able to access constantly. We can travel to story worlds by opening a book or pressing play. And sometimes all we're looking for is an escape from reality, and we call that escape magic because it feels like there's nothing else that we really have the language for. Even after my stuffed cat incident, I do still believe in magic. Just my theory about where it lives is a bit different. I think that we spend our whole lives chasing it in the small stuff, and let's talk about that today. The real word for magic is free will. Here's a shift though, one that I think really does matter. As a kid, I was at the mercy of my parents, as most of us are. I couldn't just decide to go out and get a cat. At least I thought I couldn't. And that's what being a kid is a lot of times. You are a passenger. But at some point, you are the one that steps into the driver's seat. And no one really tells you when that happens. You just have to notice it for yourself. So if you're watching this is your reminder that you are the driver of your life. For me, one of the most clearest literal versions of this moment of realizing that I was the owner of my own life was when I was 22. I went to the Humane Society and picked up my own cat. And even in this moment, I remember having conversations with my parents and them telling me like, no, you don't want to do that yet. Like you want to travel, you want to you won't be able to do all the things you want to. But in my gut, I knew I wanted this little baby to be with me. And I did it. And he's been the most magical thing in my life. Let me grab him and show you really quick. He's hiding deep under the bed. So if he comes out, then I'll show you guys him. The picture of him right here. This sounds like a very small moment, but it is so full circle for me. And it genuinely feels so magical to me. It's proof of something that I think that we all forget is that we're able to create magic in our own lives. But it's not called magic anymore. It's called free will. And I just want to say that we are absolutely at the mercy of so many things in this world. It is not an easy time to be out there. We also have the ability to change our mindset at any time. I mean, that's really the only thing that we have control over in our life. And most of us don't do that because most of the time it is scarier than waiting for something magical to just happen to us. Because, you know, what if we go out on this limb and do something magical for ourselves and it ends up not working out? Then that's like fully on us. I think that that's such a great thing, even though it is scary. Here's the reframe that I really want you to think about. So many people say that we're the main character of our lives, where yes, we are the main character of our life, but we're also the author, where we're living our life, but we also are the ones that get to write it out for ourselves. Like if you don't like where you live, you don't like your job, like you can change that, you know? And if you're not able to change that, you can add in little bits of magic in your day. Yourself to an iced coffee with sprinkles. I've been making my iced coffee with whipped cream because I love it so much. You know, there's little things that you can do to bring small baby amounts of joy into your life. And I think that we crave magic so deeply because it represents a control over our life, which is deeply uncontrollable. The world is so unpredictable and honestly very scary, and it hardly ever cooperates with what we want. We're out here, you know, facing supervillains without any superpowers we were promised as kids. Of course, we want a little magic. Sue us. Magic can be just a form of control, just in another word. The whimsy trend and why I do not think it's dumb. We're going to pivot to something that I think is a little bit more fun. In the last year, there has been an explosion of content on whimsy, and everyday magic became a trend. And at first sight, I was hooked. I loved it. Like, wait, I get to decide to add a little bit of whimsy to my life? Okay, I will. And sure enough, within a few days, I was adding little bits and pieces of whimsy to my life. I was putting on lip liner before meetings. I was wearing the special perfume. I was putting on clothes that I originally was saving for another occasion. You know, I was adding whipped cream to my coffees and just trying to make the everyday a little bit more fun. And maybe it's just another trend, but I really hope not. Life is really lived when we are looking for the magic in the little things, even if it's not the magic that we were promised as kids and it's only a little whipped cream on our coffees. Magic does not need to be supernatural to count. It just has to make the ordinary feel a little bit less flat. Creation is the actual trick. And here is what I figured out, at least for now. I think that magic, you know, real, no caveats, magic is creation. It's when we're able to make something out of nothing. And that is the trick. I recently finished the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, where this really solidified the idea for me. She describes big magic as when a creative idea finds you at the right time and place when you're ready to bring it to fruition. It's like the idea and the person are meeting each other halfway in something so beautiful. And I totally agree with her. I think that when we connect within ourselves and create something bigger out of thin air, it's the same way that it's the same thing as when a magician pulls a rabbit out of their hat. Artists do this constantly, and I believe we are all artists. So if you are looking for more magic, not just the Webster's dictionary definition of magic, I think that the answer is so simple. Spend more time creating, whatever that looks like for you, and see what comes from it. So back to that 6-year-old me on the floor trying to manifest a cat. She wasn't wrong for chasing magic. She was just looking for it in the wrong place. It was never going to come from staring at something inanimate and hoping to make it real. Later, from deciding things and making mistakes and taking time for creativity, from that authorship instead of just wishing. And here is a little idea that you can take with you to make a little bit of magic in your week. Pick one thing that you have been wishing for and write down 3 action steps that you're able to take towards that thing. Small counts, you know, whether that's adding the whipped cream to your coffee or creating a painting for your living room or cold emailing someone very important. If this resonated, please let me know. What is your stuffed cat moment? If you wouldn't mind sharing that in the comments, I would love to look through those. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week.